here is a little guide, and it's going to show you something on a screen that is a little easier to see. And that is the actual first beat, the second beat, the third beat, the fourth beat, and here's the second measure. And what I have is the grid is set to what kind of note? Does anybody want to tell me? This grid is set to, say again? It is set to 16th notes. And why is it set to 16th notes? Because I'm looking at the numbers of boxes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes in one beat. And each beat has 4 boxes, which means over the 4 beats, how many boxes do I have? 16. It's very simple math. I hate to use the M word so early in the morning. But here we have this simple little grid. And so it's going to show you what drum parts look like on the grid. And this particular grid might be a little easier to see rather than the default setting in GarageBand. This actually was the default setting in GarageBand at one point, and I wish they actually still had it. Okay, so let's take a look at this, and let's figure this out together. And that is, we said that there were quarter notes. So I'm going to draw a quarter note here so you could see a quarter note would happen right here on the beat. A quarter note would happen right here on the beat and last for the entire beat. This little graphics display of what a quarter note looks like is quite accurate in that it lasts for the whole beat. And this plays right on the beat and lasts for the whole beat. 2/8 notes would look like this. This would be 1/8 note in the measure, and this would be another 1/8 note in the measure. Okay? And of course, you know that 1/8 notes also, when you have 2/8 notes, they might, instead of being joined by a flag, or having a flag there, excuse me, they would be joined by beams. I'm sorry, that's a little ugly, but you get the idea. They would be joined by a beam. So I have Utah, Utah. However, just keep in mind that you don't always have to have something on the U and something on the ta. You could have this be a space, right? For instance, I'm playing, this is snare drum on beats 2 and 4, and it's quantized to the quarter note. Okay, it's quantized to the quarter note because it landed on the second beat. Remember, this is the second beat. However, this is not a quarter note. What value of note is this? It's half a beat, but what do we call that? It is 1/8 note. So this is actually what this would look like. It would look like this, and this would be an 1/8 note rest. Okay? And this would be a quarter note rest right here. So I would have a quarter note rest, an 1/8 note, an 1/8 note rest, a quarter note rest, an 1/8 note, and an 1/8 note rest. And this is what it would look like visually on the page. Okay? That's what that would be. So this is it. These are ride cymbals on the 1/8 notes quantized to the 1/8 note. I might write this on the page like this, and this is a pattern that you're going to see today. And I don't want to keep going across the whole 4 measures, but it might look like this. Sorry, it's a little ugly because it's hard to draw with the mouse, but you get the idea. That these X's represent high-pitched or cymbal sounds, sometimes triangles, sometimes hi-hats, sometimes cymbals, and you will see that in the key to the piece you're working on. So that would be 1/8 notes, 1 and 2 and, or Utah, 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 etc.